I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for Life in the UK test part 11, the Vikings, while doing leg injury prevention training. Participating in the exercises is at your own risk, and I'm using this only under fair use for educational purposes. So, the Vikings. The Vikings came from Denmark, Norway and Sweden. So these are three countries. We don't have a map in here, at least not so far. We are just not high. Maybe you can see it. Here's Europe, here is Great Britain. There's Denmark, north of Germany, there's Denmark. And then there's Sweden. I guess, yes, Sweden is the left one of the three Scandinavian. And Norway is the one in the middle. And the third Scandinavian is Finland. So we're having, in the north of Europe, there are Sweden, Norway and Finland. And Denmark is north of Germany. So from Denmark, Norway and Sweden, Vikings were coming. They first visited Britain in Anno Domini 789. So we have some visitors. Now the first one were invaders. They came in 55 before Christ under Emperor Julius Caesar, but they were not successful. Then there were more visitors as an invasion in 43. In 43 under Emperor Claudius. They were successful. They conquered most part of Britain, but not Scotland. Then there were more invaders, the Jutes, the Angles and the Saxons. The Saxons. And they were more successful. The Romans left in 410. Then the Angles, the Jutes and the Saxons came. And the Angles and there were Anglo-Saxon kingdoms established in Britain. Who that was, I don't know. Probably the Angles and the Saxons, but what happens to the Jutes? So there were kingdoms established, but in England, and again, Scotland was not conquered, and also Wales not. Here's nothing written to Ireland, who had that, but then there's something written about that Christian communities began to appear in Britain, which includes Ireland, in the 3rd and 4th century, but then there were missionaries coming and Christianizing the Anglo-Saxons. The one from Ireland, the one in Norfolk, and one was coming from Rome, from Italy doesn't exist, but from Rome, from the continent Europe to the south of England. Now it makes sense why north and south. The one from Ireland came to the north of Great Britain, so to the north part of Great Britain. Do they mean? So they don't really mean we are in Ireland. I need to find a better map. We are in Ireland, and let's go to the north, to Scotland. But I mean, the one from Ireland, for example, St. Patrick, the patron of Ireland, came to the north of Great Britain, Scotland, I guess. And another one from Ireland was St. Columba. He had gone also to the north, for example, and he founded the monastery on the island Iona, which is also north of Scotland, as well as Orkney, where the skull bears. So, and the next visitors were then the Vikings from Denmark, Norway and Sweden. And they first visited Britain in 789. Now we have some more what they did on their visitations. They did raid coastal towns and take away goods and slaves. So that is what they did as visitors. So now go on with leg injury prevention training. We have the legs standing wide apart and we're going down. And out. And again in. And out. Again in. And out. Now we're breathing in. And we can start with the leg injury prevention training. We're having a standing leg. The other leg is with a flexed foot in the air. And bringing to the side. So in front and to the side. We're just swinging the leg. To the side and a bit in front. And the toes of the leg which is swinging are pointing more or less the whole time in front. That's in particular important for the movement here to the side, but you have the foot like this. And now with the other leg, same setup, foot flex in the air, to the side, and in front, and the foot points more or less the whole time like this, in front. One more similar exercise, and then we're going on with Vikings. We're going in front of the foot and back, and I see already you will need at least the second part for Vikings. So the front and the back, and the front and the back. And on the other leg, the front and back, the front and back. So I'm going to tell you at this point that this probably will something about war and also some crimes against humanity explained here in the following section. So the Vikings came in 789 first, and they raided coastal towns, and so they attacked towns and cities and villages which are lying at the coast, and they took away goods. Goods are things of worth, so they stole things, and they also took slaves. That means they kidnapped humans. Then they began to stay and form their own communities in the east of England and Scotland. So they first came in 789 to raid coastal towns, to rob, steal, and also to kidnap humans. But then they also stayed and formed their own communities in the east of England and Scotland. In the east. So that would be here in the east of England and the east of Scotland. In the east of England there was also Boudica, the queen, the tribe of a tribe, the Iceni, who fought against the Roman invasion in 43, unsuccessful. So they began to stay and form their own communities in the east of England and Scotland after they had first come to England in 789. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated the Vikings. Had I read something more? The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated the Vikings. So the Vikings came in 789. After that, they started to form communities in the east of England and Scotland. And under the King Alfred the Great, the kingdoms of England united, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. So the Anglo-Saxons came, and around 600 they started to establish kingdoms in England mainly. So in 600 the Anglo-Saxons started to form kingdoms in England. And they were united under King Alfred the Great, who then fought against the Vikings. It must be around 200 years after these kingdoms were established in England. So in 600 they were established, and around 800 they were united by King Alfred the Great, and he, and with the power of the by him united kingdoms, and he could, through this union, defeat the Vikings. Many of the Viking invaders stayed in Britain, especially in the east and north of England, in an area known as the Danelaw. Many places' names were such as Grimsby and Scunthorpe came from the Viking language. We're going to do it again. We're staying with the part about King Alfred the Great. King Alfred the Great united the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England and defeated the Vikings. Next exercise, we're having a standing leg, and we're bringing the upper leg to a right angle up, and we're having a flexed foot and even aligned hips, and we are taller with the back. And we are bringing the leg out to the side, and we're breathing in. And we're breathing out, we're bringing the leg back into the middle, and we're bringing it down again. Now we're bringing the leg again up, right angle flexed foot, even aligned hips, taller with the back. We're bringing it to the outside to measure the time. We're breathing in. And out, back into the middle, and down. Now the leg again up, right angle of the leg, flexed foot, even aligned hips, taller with the back. The leg out to the side, we're breathing in. And out, leg back, and control down. Again, the leg up, leg to the outside, we're breathing in. And out, leg back into the middle, and control down. And we're going to do this two similar exercises. Leg again up, right angle of the leg, flexed foot, even aligned hips. Now we're pressing with the hand against the inside of it. And we're still taller with the back. We're having even aligned hips, and we're having a little bend in the elbow. And we're switching. The leg up, right angle with the foot, flexed, right angle with the leg, flexed foot, even aligned hips, taller with the back. And now we're pressing again against the knee, the inside, and we're having a little bend in the elbow. Taller with the back, even aligned hips, taller with the back, little bend in the elbow, and press it. Okay, we have two exercises like that. Let's do only one of them. In this exercise, we're bringing the leg up. The leg is straight. We're having a flexed foot. If the quad muscle cramps, then bring it up and point the foot. The leg up. We're controlling with the hands on tummy and lower back. That we don't go back. Try to bring the leg higher and control that you don't fall back or something. But you have a neutral position of the spine, and we're bringing the leg up and we're pointing the foot. Now with the other leg, the leg straight and we're bringing it up. Flexed foot, and we're controlling that we don't go back or something. Try to bring the leg higher. And bring it up and point the foot. King Alfred the Great united the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms around 800 in England and defeated the Vikings, who at first came in 789 to commit atrocities. Many of these Vikings stayed after they had formed communities, and that was so many of the Viking invaders stayed in Britain, especially in the east and north of England. So we had here written that they began to stay and form their own communities in the east of England and Scotland. So east of England and Scotland. Scotland is north of England, and especially in the east and north of England. So in the east and north of England, they stayed in an area known as the Danelaw. Is there now an area which has the name Danelaw? But there were two things at the side. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated the Vikings. That seems to be the biggest takeaway. As in here, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated the Vikings. And when we have a picture here, that was to the Anglo-Saxons. A helmet from the time of the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings. So it would be a helmet like it is fought for people during the time of the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings had worn. So there is an area which is called Danelaw. It is in the east and north of England, and that is the place where the Vikings stayed, even after we were defeated. Most of the Viking invaders stayed in Britain. Okay. Many place names there. Many place names there. Is this the proper English? Many place names there, such as Grimsby and Scunthorpe, came from the Viking language. So in Danelaw, in the north and east of England, where the Vikings stayed, even after they were defeated by King Alfred the Great, who had united the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in the area Danelaw. I don't know how the sentence started. Many names of some places are there after the Viking language. After the Viking language. For example, Grimsby and Scunthorpe. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly and not saying something vulgar here. Scunthorpe. The Viking settlers mixed with local communities, and some converted to Christianity. So these Christian settlers then, because they lived more or less peaceful, mixed then with the local communities. So have we anything to that who that was? We know that they spoke Celtic, that was during the Iron Age, and that people then during the Anglo-Saxons they spoke the language which we used, the Angles and the Saxons brought in. And we know about the language that the people in Scotland, Wales and Ireland are still speaking a language related to the Celtic, which was spoken during the Iron Age. I don't have enough time left. So these Vikings mixed with local communities, so they lived together and they married and had children together, and some of them converted to Christianity. We will do the rest in the next part. Just the last exercise. Breathing in. Out. Again in. And out. Last time in. And out. Now we're closing the legs. And out. Now we're done with the leg injury prevention training. And I guess we continue in part 2 of the Vikings. In the Vikings part 2. I thank you very much, and have a good exam.